back to the Three Island Discs Music and General Banter podcast. Thank you.
And I'm Andy.
You can find us on social media,
On Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
and also the website.
The website is rerecordings.wordpress.com.
Good morning. If you like the podcast or anything else we do, like, subscribe, leave a review there for the podcast. It'll help us greatly.
We review on Facebook, we review on Apple Podcasts. They all help very much so.
Yes, thank you. If you already have done so, much appreciated. Anthony, the last day, but fun the last day.
We were discussing the history of the blues.
The blues. We broke that in two, didn't we?
We did.
It was quite a long blast of stuff, really, all over the place.
And technical difficulties halfway through.
That's also correct as well. You weren't supposed to say, but too late now. Yes, the blues was interesting.
The early part of the history was very interesting.
Early history in music is always very interesting. It's because it doesn't really know what it wants to do, and it just jumps about. And it's like when it finds what it wants to do, and just stays not one road, at least it can get quite not boring, but less interesting.
But what is it to say is there's actually no original music anymore because the 12-note keys or structure has been exhausted to the extreme.
Yeah, make up some new notes.
Like Egyptian music, quarter notes and stuff.
Aye,
Oh, class.
or like a wee hitch or something, like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and a wee sneaky hitch in there,
Well, you can blame Pythagoras for the 12-note system.
Oh, is that how do you figure that out?
He invented the 12-note system in the...
Did he?
Uh-huh.
What? I didn't know that. Pythagoras?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was just a mathematician. Oh, well, I suppose,
It's maths and physics.
music
is
really is just maths, really, counting numbers.
Maths, and then you include your physics with tension on strings and stuff.
Ah, well, but, that doesn't really... Well, if you look on the frequencies and that, I suppose you can count that. But in terms of just like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're talking... I don't know. Seems very strange. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's a nice factoid, aren't they? I'm glad I've learned something, really.
And I hope you have too.
So we're flying at those. Today, this was a strange one because we didn't really know what we wanted to do.
We're hemming and hamming about things, and
Yes.
we were having guests, and then we weren't having guests, and then
Yeah.
these things happen.
So we thought we would just do an extra one in those, and I'll tell you the story. I was over at Anthony's. We were playing darts, or what we did? We were recording something. Then we were playing a slab of darts, and as I was sitting in the car, as yarning as we do, as anybody does after a nice crack. Anthony says to me, "We're going to record this on Friday." I says, "Oh, is that right?" He says, "Aye," and I says to him, "What are we going to do?" "I don't know," he said. And I says, "Well, what have we done so far? Listed what have we done so far?" And then we're still stuck. I says, "Well, what about interesting backstories?" And he says, "Oh, I could do that." And that, how long ago was that? Like a week and a half ago?
It's a week and a half ago, and
I went to the research last night.
and yesterday afternoon for myself.
So we're not underprepared, but we're maybe not as well prepared as we probably could be.
There's going to be a lot of filler in this one. There's going to be a lot of stories, a lot of rants,
Spinning yarns.
Yeah.
Oh,
history and facts, and
various factoids and such. But yes, that's what we're doing. Songs with some interesting or strange or funny backstories as to how the song was written, or names of songs, or stuff like that. Just to history's fun and all, but requires a lot more work than just looking at songs saying, "Oh, gee, that's a good story."
and everybody knows most of the backstories for Fleetwood Mac's Rumours anyway. So we thought
Rumours is, when we discussed it, we just listened to 2 or 3 there and then. Songs that, and I listened to 2 or 3 and you thought 2 or 3, and then we were like, well, just like the whole Rumours album. backstretch to all them songs, all the carries-ons that happened in the production.
It's quite a time to be alive at that during
it
that
was.
production.
When was that? That was
1972.
70s, right? What a time. 70s and 80s was class. I was telling Jeremy how to work there, and me and him was taking the tea yesterday. I put on some music on the phone, and he says to me, "Who's that?" I wasn't, I don't know. I told him, he says to me, "You know what, Big Hugh?" He says, "See, the music nowadays, it's pure rubbish. Music of the 1980s was the best music there ever was," he says. I says, "Jared, that's 100% correct." It was class.
But you know why modern music is as bad as it is?
Go on ahead.
Right. Well, the production is actually...
prepare for a rant, children.
No. The modern production is actually unbelievable. You couldn't dream of it in the 80s.
It is, no, that's true.
But it's one fella's idea of the perfect song structure, which was Dr. Whatever, the boy that did all the keys and all the albums. Dr.
Yes.
Luke, there we go.
Dr. Luke, okay.
Who's now in jail or something, I think.
Fair play to him.
For something to do with keys anyway.
Oh.
He invented the modern day song structure. So
Yes.
So that's why every song sounds the same, because they're all stealing off the same structure.
Aye, just all based on that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I read an interesting article on why modern music was so bad. I also watched the video on it. I'd listed a whole pile of things, half of which I can't remember. But one of them was basically that they're all based on one thing. I couldn't remember names or nothing like that there. The other thing was repetitiveness in songs, repeating the same lines over and over again. Go back to our big tea time talk there. Chair says, there's one of them Rihanna songs. Diamonds, I don't even know, Diamonds or something.
Yeah.
He says, she just says the one line like 40 times. I thought to myself, that's pretty woeful. No imagination.
Or Umbrella, Ella.
Yes, that was another thing. Repeating the little, not even a full line, just like a wee bit over and over again was like a draw for people.
Instead of putting a delay in there anyway, doing the delay.
Yes. And the likes of, there's less dynamics in music.
Very much so.
It sort of just comes straight in, does what it has to do, and finishes. If you look at the likes of, I've listened to a lot of Iron Maiden lately, so half the Iron Maiden songs, they have nice build-ups at the start, get into a real class verses and choruses, and then big bridge, maybe gets way down low in the middle, builds way up again, and a class outro and all this carry on, like 10-minute songs. But people nowadays have no attention span, apparently, for listening to 10-minute songs, so everything's like 3 minutes, straight in, catchy as hell at the start, middle and there in the middle, a good catchy chorus there to finish her, and then just dead, finished.
You have to get your chorus within 25 seconds, otherwise your song won't make it.
That's horrible.
So that's why there's no intros anymore. Why... And also, songs are actually getting shorter again. They're actually averaging 2.5 minutes now.
Yes, I read an article about that too. In fact, I think I might have said you that, or you sent it to me. I can't remember.
I heard it on a different podcast.
I definitely read it somewhere though. I might have been the Daily Mail. Actually read it. Had a reliable source of information.
So, and you need a change of something. Something needs to change every 10 seconds. So the Pharrell Williams effect. So he changes every 10 seconds. As soon as it gets to 10 seconds, it's bam, there's something new.
That's science ruined music too, that road. Instead of just people expressing themselves. It's just, it's been formulated to make money.
I don't think you're allowed to express yourself as easily as you could have done in the 70s or 80s.
No, that's true. Sure, you can't say boo to anybody nowadays.
So
What can you do? It's just the way the world is.
So on that cheery note.
Yes, interesting backstory, certainly. The research for this, although not extensive, I did find quite a bit of stuff as you did as well.
Mm.
Um, well, as I said, we looked for backstories. We looked for something interesting or funny or
Something nobody knows, or I was
yes,
looking for that kind of
yes. You
side of
were.
things.
I left mine very late, so I was just looking for like good backstories. If anything, I find it very difficult. Google searches are like the worst thing.
Not for this kind of
They
thing.
give you piles of absolute rubbish in the middle of it, and there was plenty of rubbish
A
songs
lot of
came up.
songs I had never even heard of before.
Yes, which probably did have good backstories, but I couldn't bother listening to a new song.
And then having to memorize parts of the song.
Yeah, and then memorize the story. Get away with that. But no, I did find some good ones. As we mentioned, Rumours album. I did look up Dreams because it had an interesting story, as did most of them. Obviously written by Stevie Nicks, who at the time, or just slightly before it, was in a relationship with Lindsay Buckingham. But at
And
the
slightly
time,
after it, Mick Fleetwood.
and yeah, well, side point, but they were sort of on, and then they were sort of off in the middle of recording that, and while they were recording it, she actually wrote this song while they were recording the album. They were in a relationship when they joined in 1973. At the time of writing, the two were sort of going through a split. She actually was like taking a break and just sort of wandered off into another studio, which I think there was a bed on it or something. This is the story I read. There was like a bed in the middle of it and a piano. So she like lay down in the bed and like played the piano and came up with this song. She wrote it in 10 minutes, which fair play to her. It's a cracking song.
That's good going.
Originally, the rest of the band didn't like it. Said it was like too plain, too boring. It's only like 3 chords or something, and they were like, get away with that. But she got them roped round anyways. The song is it's like it's not like a get back at you song. Because they were going through the split, there was a bit of animosity between them. It was sort of a payback song. He wrote "Go Your Own Way," which basically targeted her. Go your own way, away with you. Out, they said.
Or you can go your own way.
Exactly. So this was her thing back to. I wrote the line. What the hell did I read that? Players only love you when you're playing. That was a target at him. Just a direct target at him. Players only love you when you're playing. So that was her. Oh, big cut and bad line and the whole thing. But I thought that was interesting. The most interesting was that she wrote it in 10 minutes for me.
Very much so.
And that nobody liked it. Which I thought was good.
You can. Can't believe I'm going to say this.
Being controversial as usual.
You can understand why they wouldn't have liked it, because Buckingham and Nicks, that was the name of the band.
Yes.
They were writing this like way out there, their pop folk music,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not surprised why Lindsay didn't like it, and I'm probably not surprised why John and Mick and Christine didn't like it, because John and Mick were coming from the blues side of things,
Yes.
and Christine, she had the big piano arrangements.
That's right.
So it's very, very understandable, that side of things. But still, whenever you add in all that lovely wee jangly stuff.
Oh, that is one of the best songs.
Aye.
All the backing vocals and different things. And even, I've listened to the song plenty of times, headphones and different things. It wasn't the one night I was watching it on YouTube or something that I heard all the backing was really, really clear. They were just right up. I didn't know what the hell happened or what version or what the hell was. It sounded unreal. So it was a good song and it just got better.
Mm.
Oh, it was class. The backing vocals. The bass guitars would mix it as well. There's no real rhythm guitar, it's just
No.
driven by the bass and the drums, which is class.
Good rhythm section,
isn't
aye.
it? Oh, great song. But see, that's the wee interesting story. That's the starter for 10.
Stick on a wee bit there, just if
aye.
you don't know Dreams.
If you don't know it,
classic album.
It is. It's really good.
If you ever get a chance, watch the BBC documentary on it, the classic albums documentary on it. It is just go through song by song, story by story.
Unreal.
It is class.
And it's like, there's Lindsay Buckingham and nothing. I think I might have watched a bit of that, and he was nowhere. He wasn't in any of it. Talked to all the rest of them, Mick Fleetwood and Chris McVie.
He was in parts of it, I think.
Mm. Maybe it's a different documentary. It was something on recently about them. I can't remember if it was the BBC or what it was. But they were talking about, they were sort of following Chris McVie. She sort of left, and then she didn't want to go on a plane or something. She could fear the planes. Then eventually, Mick Fleetwood visited her in London, and says, "Oh sure, come on back to Hawaii or wherever he was living with me." And she jumped in the plane, and that was it. She just cured. Back to Turney again. I don't know if that was the same program, but
I don't remember that bit, but no.
Probably wasn't then. But
No.
no.
No, this just went into the whole detail of the Rumours album.
Class.
The production techniques and what all he did. And
Oh.
there was parts of it where one of the songs on the album, there's a solo.
Mm-hmm.
Never Going Back Again.
Yes.
I think there's a solo on it. Anyway, the point of the story is that, and it wasn't even in this document. It's a different thing altogether. So, but yeah, it wasn't a one take solo.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6 or 7 takes all chopped together.
Oh, interesting.
And the only man that could do it was the engineer at the time, because nobody else was there during the tracking of the solo. So nobody else knew which track was playing which, and so they had to get him. They had to get your man out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, bring him into the studio to do this solo take.
Raging for him.
So,
Well, he must be well paid for it.
Oh,
I
he'd
would
have
say.
to be.
Bound to be. But aye, dreams. And Rumours. If you haven't listened to Fleetwood Mac, I highly suggest Rumours as a starting point. So there you go.
very much so.
Recording recommended.
The
There
2
you go.
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up from Anthony. 2 thumbs up from Mike Q. So there you go. So yes. So Anthony, your turn now. Where
I'm
you
going to
going,
go.
kid?
Now, I had never heard this song. Well, I probably subconsciously never heard it. But it's probably been on the radio or Spotify playlist or something.
Go on ahead.
But Ray Charles,
Oh yes.
What I Say. I'm going to stick it on anyway, just
Took
to
her on
let
there.
it tear away.
So I hadn't heard this one before.
Nice 12-bar blues. Now, here's the good story part of this here. It was made up on the spot after he had like 12 minutes of a concert to tell. He was doing one of them charity fundraising, what do they call it, a meal dance. And you could book for your slots, so they had to play, you had to be playing for like 4, 5, 6 hours, something like that there.
Oh, that's
Aye.
big jaunt.
They had exhausted their set list by about midnight or so,
Class.
and but they still had 12 minutes
Yes.
left on the slot. So Ray, he turns to the band and says, "Look, I'm just going to play around here. You follow me?"
A bit like Back to the Future. He plays Johnny Be Good. Oh, keep it this, and B flat, B minor, whatever it was. Keep it clean. And then just lay under, and the ball just fixed it under.
So he's just making up lyrics on the spot. So that finished off the 12 minutes, and the audience couldn't believe themselves. They said, "Oh, this is amazing! This is the best song you played all night, Ray."
Made up on the spot.
So Ray decides he's going to. He decides after the concert he's going to record it. The original, as he put it, this segment here was that 12 to 15 minutes. He came into the studio and it was about 9 touching 9 minutes at that time.
Yes.
And the producer was having absolute heart palpitations.
I thought it was 9 minutes.
9 minutes? Not in the 50s.
I'm pure agent. No, I suppose at the time, it was like singing as a 9-month song.
So what he did was, as you'll see in the podcast playlist, that it's part 1 and 2.
I noticed that actually.
So it's 5 minutes there on the playlist, so it's 3 minutes and then 2 minutes or something like that there.
Yes.
Alright.
So that was... Aye, so as I said,
Tell me what I said.
standard video time at that time was 2.5 minutes, a bit like
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Tell me what I said.
he, as I said, he decided, right, we're going to take out this bit, this chunk here, and keep all this bit at the
Good
start.
stuff.
But there's a lot of stuff that's kind of a bit...
It's all thinking time. It's like, I need to think of something good here to play next. You know what? I'll do this, do that. Then he does it. That's the bit he keeps.
So, turned out, 1958 December, on the spot, turned out they want to raise your tracks at that time, and became one of Ray's most notable tracks as it had been covered by Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Eric Clapton, Nancy Sinatra did a version as well with Sammy Davis Jr., which I couldn't find on Spotify, so I'll play a wee bit of Jerry and Elvis, why not? But yeah, very much.
I think I have heard the song before. Well, I heard this first lack of lyrics there. Definitely sounds familiar. I can't think of who singing it. Sounds familiar. Faster there.
Very much Jerry's honky tonk era.
The drums aren't as nice.
No. And the Elvis version is really nice, surprisingly. Just closer to the original.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong.
Yeah.
Come and love your daddy all night long. All right.
Good song. there.
It's a good song. Definitely a lovely find.
Oh, it was a good find, wasn't it? Where did you take that now? You didn't find that on Google, did you?
It took a while about a hoken to find it, but
But you found it.
I found it, and yeah,
Good man.
that's
Fair play, kid.
that's what I say about Ray Charles.
Very good. That's good.
Hugh, your next choice.
My next choice. Well, that first one wasn't really a choice, but just because we talked about rumours. But my first official choice. I actually looked at like 9 or 10, because I didn't really know how in depth to go into them. But the 3 I sort of picked are my most in depth ones. I'm going for Bad Moon Rising first. If you don't know if you never listened to Fleetwood Mac, if you've never listened to Creedence Clearwater Revival, get listening to them.
Where have you been?
they, as I described down there before we started recording, they live fast and died young.
A lot of
Basically.
songs in a very short period of time.
They existed for 3 years, and in 3 years they released. They recorded. They wrote their own music, recorded it, and did live tours all in 3 years. That's some going.
Very much like the Beatles. I know we're not a Beatles fan, but they had lived fast and
Yeah.
the band dismantled very quickly.
Yes. But here's Bad Moon Rising. So the song written by John Fogerty, who's the singer and lead guitarist, basically wrote the first 2 albums, never most of the third. He wrote basically every song. It's only whenever I can't remember which one of them left first. I think it was his brother, who was the other guitar player. And then he decided, oh lads, I better let you write a few songs here. Yeah, he wrote this in 1969. He had the title. He kept the book of song titles that he think up and listed one in the head. He didn't actually know what he meant by Bad Moon Rising. It just sounded good, he said. The topic of the song was the 1941 film called The Devil and Daniel Webster. It's like a LA noir style, black and white film sort of thing. If you listen to the lyrics of the song, he's talking about a hurricane and rivers bursting and all that stuff. This apparently was like his favourite scene in the movie, or one that stood out to him the most. Well, it basically was a big hurricane and stuff was blowing about everywhere. He didn't really know what he was writing about the song, but he sort of, describes it as like a metaphor for the turmoil that was sort of happening at the time. Martin Luther King was assassinated, JFK was assassinated, this was going back mad. So this is what he sort of good song. Previously, they were simple enough. The songs are just good.
Catchy. That's some catchy.
That there, run through the jungle, look out the back door. I've thought on them. I know loads of them. Oh, Proud Mary. You know the one that
Rolling on a river.
Rolling on the river. The baby sings it in the back of the car. That's originally their song, although it was covered by everybody.
Tina Turner.
Yes, I think that's her singing it in the commercial. But that's their song. John Fogerty wrote that. Lodi said that. They're good. Have you ever seen The Rain?
That's
a
the one.
clanker. I love the wee church organ in the last chorus.
Lovely.
But yep, inspired by a movie. He wrote the music for it first as well, before he had any words. He had the title, then he wrote all the music, then he wrote the words. Which I don't know. I don't write songs. I've written tunes before, but I don't write songs.
It's not really. It's not. So the lyrics aren't really about anything. Really, it's just casual observations, I suppose.
Just from watching the film.
Aye.
So, yeah, Badman Raisin. I'll say, if you haven't listened to Creed Clearwater, get on that. They basically soundtrack the movie The Big Lebowski.
They were in Tropic Thunder.
Which is, yes,
all them Vietnam films.
That's right. Because Vietnam was around that time, wasn't it? The late 60s, early 70s or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, aren't they?
No, I think you're right.
And some of their songs were inspired by it. Run Through the Jungle is prime example.
Yeah.
What's the other one? The name escapes me. Fortunate Son. I think it's about a
That's a good one too.
Vietnam soldier or something. I can't remember. So why just listen to that nicely?
That's a real good one.
It's a bit of a protest song, that actually. Sort of against Vietnam War, I think. Or not so much the war, but like the people in charge. From I think I read that somewhere online one night, very late. That's why I only sort of half remembered. No, I watched the documentary actually. Sort of. That was good.
It was one of the major wars that the States actually lost.
That's true.
So
That's true. We don't like to talk about it. It's like
still hurts.
it's like faulty tires don't mention the war sort of thing. What can you do?
That's good. Faulty Towers is one of the best shows out.
That was a cracking program. There's only 12 episodes of it.
Yep.
You know,
And if anybody thinks about banning scenes and stuff, forget about it.
get
It's
away.
a different time.
Aye. If you're offended by it,
Don't watch
don't
it.
watch it. Aren't they? That's gospel there. If you're offended by it, just don't watch it.
Like if you're offended by a bit, just turn it off. It's very easy.
That's why I've quit watching the news.
The BBC news I always found a bit more depressing. I've been watching the UTV news lately.
They're a wee bit more positive.
They are for some reason.
I don't know.
Because the day they were in farms and at barbers and
But one depressing side of UTV News is Frank Mitchell retired.
he did.
He wasn't getting the weather right anyways, so probably about time he was.
None of them can get the weather right. What was it? Mom had said today? She goes, she's what we were watching UTV, and your woman had said that there was going to be rain on Monday, and Mommy goes, well, Bar told me earlier on it wasn't going to rain Monday.
The bar for it. So they're the biggest pile of.
Meteorology
BBC
is literally just look outside and
Well, the thing about meteorology is the way they're predicting the weather is if they take a point and they're predicting the weather from one point, you could have 20 different outcomes for how it's going to be at a certain place down the line. It's very hard to predict. I learnt about it in Queen's.
But I think, like, I know they're all working for the British Meteorological Society. That's not
Yeah.
easy to say, I know. But
Meteorological. I thought I would get it first go, and I wasn't even close.
you're better, did better than me.
Meteorological.
They should be picking the point. The weather forecasters shouldn't be picking their point. They should be picking their point, and then just giving the report to all the reporters.
But then, like, if the weather's the same for everybody, what's the point in having a whole pile of different weather people? You need one then. Pre-recorded, sent to everybody. This is John from the weather, and the weather's going to be sunny.
It might rain.
No, it wouldn't even be like that. It would just be like a pre-recorded message and just a video of a man standing with his hands out to get here.
like phoning the big clock on the phone.
Aye. The time is 7 o'clock
And 15.
and 37 seconds. Aye. It'll make more sense to do it that way, but it takes the fun out of it watching all different weathers.
And then
who's gonna predict?
everybody having a row about, well, he didn't tell me that.
Aye, exactly.
There's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that did the exact same thing, where the weatherman, Larry David, he had decided that the weatherman had predicted the weather depending on how to keep the golf course clear.
Yes.
So if he predicted rain for everybody else, he was out in the golf course because it was sunny.
That's a smart thing to do, actually. That's power. That's abusive power more than.
Yeah.
That's quite funny.
You must have to book your slot in the golf course or
Probably,
something. So I don't know.
Tea time.
Aye.
After that,
That's a lot of information to take in there.
where are you taking us to next, Anthony?
The Cranberries, Zombie.
Oh, Cranberries. That's a good song.
That is a good song.
I love the heavy guitar in that song.
It's Dolores O'Riordan classified it as her most aggressive song.
Where is she from?
They're from Limerick.
Mm.
The Cranberries are from Limerick.
The official video for that song, I'm almost certain they're in Belfast.
Well, that's what I'm going to get into.
Okay, right, okay. I'm sure reading the story, am I?
No, you haven't.
Oh, that's good. I don't know the story, by the way. You haven't told me this yet.
No, we're keeping all stories secret from now on. For
just from each other. Adds that extra element of
surprise.
Oh, is that right, Anthony?
So I'll let her tear away anyway. No, I'm not even going to start the song. I'm going to start with... Right, as we had said, Zombies were from Limerick, formed in 1989, and didn't hit it big till 1992. The album, everybody else is doing it, so why can't we? Which had hits on it from Dreams and Other Dreams.
Aye, I saw that in the playlist. I thought, that's nothing good, man.
Different Dreams.
Is that what that song's called? I didn't know that.
That's a classic. And then Linger, the Tiger one.
They're good songs. The Cranberries are actually fairly underrated, I would say.
That's an amazing album. Not everybody else is doing it. Album. That's a great song. But so in the middle of touring the Everyone Else album, at that time, the Troubles were they were petering out a wee bit at that point in 1983. But the IRA, they were targeting more mainland UK, so England. So Dolores and the Cranberries, they were in London at the time, and that was at the time of the Warrington bombing.
Yes.
Where two two weans, two children that died. The IRA had planted the bombs into the bins, and they were going.
Bad job,
They were going to the shops, and the two detonated in separate different places in Warrington. So Laura, she was heartbroken. She couldn't get over it. She couldn't let it go. So she basically had the chord structure and the way it was laid out as she was touring England at that time. She came back to Limerick, and she was out the night out. So she came back at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She couldn't settle. She needed to get this song finished. So she ended up with Zombie. And she's really giving it her all. She is angry.
She is,
She's angry in it.
It's a great song though. So I love the heavy guitar on it. It's simple enough.
So good. So that's her troubles song.
It's her getting it out,
Aye.
getting her emotion out.
There was a few U2 had done as well, but there wasn't.
You two
The streets have no name, but it was half and half troubles and half freaking poverty. That was kind of after the time of
that's Bono just.
Band-Aid. So I didn't want to just go down that route. Dolores has a very, very unique singing voice.
She does actually.
And I reckon it's because she spent her childhood and her teens singing in the chapel choir. That sort of choiry, I don't know how you describe it, but it's just sort of.
You see, it's not me, it's not
You know what I mean?
family.
It's hard. That's hard to define.
Yes and no. If
Aye.
you know what I mean.
Fighting
Definitely different. That's very.
with their tanks and their bombs.
That's where her sound came from.
In your,
Good sound.
Aye.
in your head.
Of course, she's not with us now.
In your head.
Some songwriter.
In your head.
Yes. That one. What was that first one? Dreams. I didn't even know that was. I thought that was some MRA lads.
The very first song on that Dairy Girls show. The very first one.
It's a long time since I watched Terry Girls.
And then, I don't know if everybody knows, but one of the episodes was called Doom.
Terry Girls? Was it? And what series? First series? Second series?
First series.
Was it?
I was driving by the time they were filming it.
Where the film at?
Up at Haggerty's, up at the film station.
Oh,
Money Neck film station.
I must watch that.
You know, there's a wee, you know where there's the wee restaurant.
By Peggy's Dinner.
Aye. They had all the blocks at the back, so the diner made it look like the diner in the show, and then they had the petrol pumps outside her, and they had the 90s car, the Ford outside her.
Oh, jeez, must have that you.
Aye, it's maybe the 4th or 5th episode. At the time, there's a boy in the boot, which doesn't really.
Is that the one that goes holidays or something? Is it?
Aye, they're going to Donegal,
Oh, Jesus.
and they're trying to avoid marching season.
Go from Derry
In your head.
To Tim.
to Donegal. I've got lost before, but not that lost.
In your head.
There you go. Tim's the centre of the
Very
universe
good.
in terms of TV productions.
Sure, the film some Game of Thrones there,
Game
Tim,
of
as
Thrones
well.
in 2 separate locations.
Well, there's Money Glass, which the big gas or whatever.
And then there's-
But they actually filmed in Tim by
Now,
so they're not Clipper Scotty there. What they filmed,
In your head.
who knows?
it was
'cause
a boy. It was your man.
Zombie.
I didn't see it, but I can't remember his name. But
all the actors.
aye, one of the characters. He was on this boat for
Right.
days and days and days.
Right.
But they only had like 100, 200 yards of actual open canal to work with. So they just went out and down on the same spot.
Oh. I've never actually watched that show, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be able to pick out the scene or anything. But that's very interesting.
Aye, because I mean your man from Precart, he'd done the turn of the boat. He had
Yes.
to trail the boat on the actual show. feel it up and down. Yeah.
I remember when that was being filmed. I used to get the bus to Tim. I think I was working in Ballymena or something. I used to get the bus, and they had all the big massive
Green screens up.
green screens blocking the whole thing. You couldn't see, even on the old bridge. They had it all blocked off. You
Aye.
couldn't look down the river or nothing. Wild.
And
The ones that keep a cigarette.
security guards
That's
everywhere,
right.
and
That's right.
local councillors telling you to get off ground.
Wait, that girl.
So, yeah. I think Ashton got a win a picture of it. So
It's alright.
I think that was like one of the earlier times they just decided we'll do it, and then
Then people started releasing what was going on. Then it started getting big news and tune.
yeah,
So that's zombies there, aren't they?
great song,
That's a good song.
great album. Just generally all of the Cranberry stuff is
Must
just
listen to that
class.
album actually.
As I said, Dolores, she died in 2019. So
Did she?
aye,
Oh, just there you go.
so she's no longer with us anymore. But
Oh, that's unfortunate.
yeah, definitely
And they're from Limerick.
they're from Limerick.
And how did Belfast get absorbed into the video?
Because of the Troubles.
Oh, of course, those, yes. I think you said that. I forgot.
It's alright.
Because I remember watching the video the first couple of times I saw it, and I never really twigged on that it was Belfast, not, and then
Mm-hmm.
I saw how like all the murals and stuff that was on it, and then I was trying, how long? That won't be down the south,
No,
because I don't think that's a big thing down the south, murals, no, I can't.
not peace murals anyway. Or
No. So it took me it had to be Belfast, and then I thought, they're not from the north, because I know they're definitely from the south somewhere. I thought they were from Dublin,
no,
Limerick. There you go. Didn't know that either.
probably the biggest band to come out of Limerick.
Aye. I can't think of any other ones, to tell you the
No.
truth.
The only other big one would be and they're not even from Limerick. They're from Tuam. It's Sawdalkers.
That's right.
And then I think there's a big massive Cork band, but for life of me, I can't remember who they are.
Then there's themselves,
Oh, there is one.
Bono and the Boys.
Aye, biggest, arguably the biggest band in the world, easily. I was listening to here to shout out for you.
Right. Go on ahead.
The Irish Music Industry Podcast.
Oh.
They had, well, the week earlier I went to Tech with me. She was on it there one day last week.
Yes.
And Rue. And they had Tara Howley on it this week,
Yes.
which was very interesting. Very interesting.
What are we talking about then? What?
What was it? She talked about recording the first album, and then they were talking about her 365 series. She was
Okay.
doing a tune or a
Aye.
dancing thing or
Aye, that's right.
a story one day a year. She's doing this. She's doing it again next year, starting 1st of January.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's different this time because you can't obviously meet up with people yet. But unless it
Yes.
changes, but
I down south you can't do it.
no, definitely not. But then that's another 9 months away, so she's got loads of
That's
time to sort
true.
that out.
Aye, it's loads of time.
But yeah, and she was just talking about her career, and she was over in the States at the time the COVID broke with Riverdance.
Yes,
They were doing the
yes.
American Canadian tour,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they were just about to play Broadway or Carnegie Hall or something like that. They're really
Yeah.
big, one of the big icons of stage.
Yes.
And COVID kicked in, and then they had to just get home.
I was in the same boat actually. Sort of. I just happened to be in America when COVID was just getting out of China. So it was fun.
Good time getting home.
I actually was home sort of like when I came home at the end of January. COVID was just starting to infect people in America. It hadn't reached Europe or nothing yet. Like there's maybe 3 people died or something, or maybe 14 people dead in China or something like that, and 2 or 3 had died in America. And I thought, well, just about a job at, and then got home to this stuff. I almost said a bad word there. I'm not going to. Get home to everything just getting worse and worse, and then next thing, bang, lockdown. That's,
Your next choice, Q.
yes, back to important stuff. I've really got two main choices left. I'll tell you a few of the smaller ones first. That I looked up. Say I have 9 or 10 there. Bad of the Hell was one. Sort of interesting enough. Obviously written by Jim Steinman, who wrote most of
the Meatloaf stuff.
Meatloaf songs, and the original theme for the song was Peter Pan and the Neverland Story. How that plays on when you listen to the song, how that actually plays on, I'm not 100% sure.
No, I'm not buying that at all.
That's what it said on the page online. Don't believe everything you hear and read on the internet, children. Some of it is made up. But what really struck me was an operatic dramatization of a cataclysmic event. So, we'll not listen to the whole song because it's like 10 minutes long. The extended version is the only version.
Absolutely.
9 minutes, 50 seconds.
See this radio version?
No. You need... The cataclysmic event is the big motorcycle crash. The theatrical drama behind it and all that, whatever's going on. That's your guy. And you need that. Without that, the song is just... It's not right. That song. Not right. This big solo comes up here before it starts singing. It's top notch. That reminds me of The Who.
Yeah, the CSI thing.
Yeah.
CSI
This
New
here,
York.
right here, something. Guitar solo come up here.
I like Meatloaf because he's even within his 10-minute songs, there's maybe 6 songs and within it. It's all different timings. So much reverb and that guitar ridiculous is class.
Fun fact about that song, the big bit in the scene in the middle where the motorcycle crashes and they're doing the motorcycle sound. Instead of getting a motorcycle in to do this sound, it was the guitar player, whatever way he did, they just put the distortion and whatever, just turned everything up full and just like scraped the strings or something. So that is a guitar, not a motorcycle. Dying down. Get ready for the first lyrics. It's a class song. I'll skip right ahead to the last bit. So we're getting into the big crash now, coming shortly. It's driving in the road here now.
I can see myself tearing up the road faster than any other boy has ever gone.
I love his arrangements. It's basically a classical
Skin is raw,
song.
it's right.
Piano,
Stop,
lovely backup singing.
make my escape.
Then you have the rock guitar.
Stop thinking of you.
The drums are very steady, there's nothing fancy at all. It's a classic.
Does he have a classical background?
I think, sure. I did watch a documentary on one time, but I can't remember it. Not long ago.
Oh, makes me think it was.
He definitely went into it at some stage because you mean that program was on there on TV. There was a TV program where there was like celebrities doing opera singing. He's a judge on it. I think I may have said this one of our podcasts. I watched it and thought, oh, Meatloaf. And then it was like, oh, after the break, Meatloaf's going to sing Banter to Hell. It's a really dull operatic version of it. And he's getting old at times, so he just hadn't the same puff as he did. It sounded very I pushed it off.
Was he not doing the farewell tour for like 20 years or something?
Oh, probably, aye.
It's like the Wolf Tones.
Aye. I mean, they were playing Belfast one time. I know my dad was a big Meatloaf fan. Like, we listened to the Jar stuff and I was like, oh, it's just their Meatloaf flag. Go see them. Oh, no, I haven't seen them before. Oh, it's just yeah, Meatloaf flag, hell. another small one ahead. Sorry, I'll get on to
You're
these.
right.
I'm going to jump into a bit of Iron Maiden because say I've listened to them recently. A song called Blood Brothers. This is like a live version from 2001. This sort of thing. Just chant this song. Easy chorus. Just say Blood Brothers by time. Just sing it out. Shit. Pretty good. The song was written by Steve Harris, who's a bass guitar player. Very good bass guitar player. It wasn't written about his father just died. It wasn't really so much written about his father, but it sort of mentions him a bit here. It's more sort of about a bit like well, listen, we'll get to the chorus, I know.
Just like a mirror reflecting the
Listen to the lyrics.
the river reflections of me. Just for a second, a glimpse of my father I see. And in a movement he beckons to me.
Iron Maiden, Ian, haven't listened to Iron Maiden. Yeah, listen to him.
I know the
That's a key recommendation.
Yeah, that's just me. Alan doesn't care. He came first. There's your course there.
See that's not a bad song for me because there's dynamics in it. There's some of them that are just full throttle the whole time, and at least the one to live.
Like Dragon Force as well. You know, I mean to have my dad. But no. But anyway, for that live song, that version there, you know, he's playing this stadium, just thousands and thousands of people. Can you imagine standing on a stage, singing a song, and 1,000 people singing it back to you? That'd be class.
Unreal.
Oh, that was in South America too. They're mad down there. So that's Blood Brothers. I've written about Steve Harris, or sort of about Steve Harris' father.
Good.
But obviously more a message about what's going on in the world or how it's changing. One last one before we move on to the actual choice. December 1963. What a night!
Who sings that?
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Very good.
That's a class song.
Chorus for it is unreal.
That start is class too.
But it sounds like boom boom boom.
Yeah, sorry. The whole song's class. Written as a song to celebrate the end of Prohibition in 1933. That was the original name for the song. December 1933. That's an interesting bit
Yeah.
there. But he changed the lyrics at the request of Frankie Valli and one of the original ladies who wrote the song, Judy Parker, her name was. To sort of keep up with the times more, so obviously within the 60s. So they changed the lyrics. They changed it to December 1963 and changed it to depict a young man's first affair with a woman.
Aha! Like Mrs. Robinson.
Well, sort of loosely based on that Judy Parker and her, I think her husband, he also wrote the song. He's one of the sort of their relationship a wee bit. But Frankie Valli, good listen to as well.
That at the start of it sounds like it's the same drums for Superstitious. Yeah, that's all I can hear. Boom, boom, boom.
Actually, you know what? Let me get this song because I have it here too. But also Frankie Valli.
Grease.
We've probably mentioned Grease before. That is a clinker.
I've just been listening to that soundtrack all week. That is so good.
It is very good. Similar. Less hi-hats, no.
Boom, boom, boom.
I should love that song. I love that song.
That's
Some groove in that song.
like, you know, like that's one of like I'm kind of a I'm weird about things. I can kind of tell what a song is after the first 4 bars. And that's the one that throws me. It's either 1963 or Superstitious. So it's like, ah!
Well, that's a bit, because I love the saxophone in this, or whatever it is. It wasn't meant for another thing, but just to be.
To be hooks in between lines and stuff. That's
That's that song. That's that.
7 years of bad luck.
That's right, you know. And that's my last wee segue for a minute or two, you know. So, my next actual choice, we're going back to Stevie Nicks, unfortunately. Or unfortunately.
Nothing unfortunate about
I'll
it.
just stick the song on. If you don't know it, get listening to it. Edge of 17. So this was actually, I quite enjoyed this little backstory.
Just like the wild wind.
Do you know where the title for the song came from? Edge of 17.
No.
Right. So,
Just like the wild wind.
Stevie Nicks obviously wrote the song.
Sounds like
She was friends with Tom Petty's wife.
in the days go
Her first name,
in the wind. In the
can't find
wind
it.
that is found. I begin
There she
to
was. Mrs. Petty. Very good on me. So she was talking to Mrs. Petty, and I guess they were talking about how the two of them met. And she must have been from the south. She said at the age of 17, but with her accent, Steve Nicks
Sounds
thought
like
she
age.
said age of 17.
Sounds nice.
So that's how she got the title. The song was actually inspired sort of the death of Steve Nicks' uncle and the murder of John Lennon at that time. So they sort of within a few weeks of each other.
1981 then.
1980, December 1980.
just like the
That's sort of where this song came from. She wrote to comfort
just like the wild wind.
over at the time.
She's singing.
He must have getting
Who was Jim Irving with Stevie?
Tomorrow.
he was a producer or something as well.
Yeah. Jeez. I think he did the Rumours album. But he also did U2,
Heard his name
Joshua
before.
Tree, and Free the Beats by Dr. Dre.
Definitely
That's
heard
right.
his name.
I've said it one other podcast, but and then Bono broke him, so he could never step into the studio again.
But here's the this. Go back to the very first one. That line there. Where it came from. You know what
Gospel
this-
song.
He got that off menu. Must went to cafe or a restaurant. Line on the menu. A white wine dove sings a song that sounds like she's singing. Just ripped this shit off the menu. And the best is, Steve Nicks herself actually admitted she never heard a dove until 40 years after she was so. Which is funny. It's just really weird. Sort of, I wrote this song.
It's like that song, When Dogs Cry. Apparently dogs actually do cry.
There you go. He didn't know that either. Very good. Oh, jeez, that's a class song there.
Great song.
I love that
The
song.
only thing that annoys me about it is that the guitar is very repetitive. But apart from that, it's great.
It's a bit like Eye the Tiger. Just very repetitive. All that
Song good. But that changes for the chorus. That kind of stays consistent the whole way through.
drumming sort of song all the way through too.
Song good. I think it's the harmony sections and the big hook in the chorus. Yeah.
Same sort of thing. I suppose maybe that's just Stevie Nicks' style. Everything's very simple.
Everything's simple, but she has a massive voice. She can cover
does.
everything.
She does. and she's able to put her, she's able to place them back up lyrics and different things here and there, which do change it up.
Mm-hmm.
As far as music, she's not much of a she's not very musical that road. As I was telling about Dreams,
Mm-hmm.
probably three chords, and the rest of the band hated it.
But she hears things that the rest aren't hearing.
That's
Like
true.
she's hearing all this background stuff.
It's a bit like me and you. Like
Mhm.
you hear different things from what I hear. I do listen to words of songs and drumming.
I can only hear the rhythm section.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better. I listen to a lot of bass guitar now. That's good grooves hiding in there.
Mm,
So that's yes, that's my second
very good.
second choice
Great
there.
choice.
Kid.
Before I move on to my final choice, there was one notable mention I had.
Mhm.
Now, Anthony's going to tell you. Anthony's not going to tell you the backstory for this year because nobody knows the backstory for this year. But it has it does have a backstory. Just nobody knows
Nobody
it.
knows.
And it's Alanis Morissette. You ought to know from her classic album Jagged Little Pill, which made her an absolute star. I mean, she's not a great singer.
I've heard her name before, but I don't think I've ever actually listened to it.
She's
I never
not.
saw.
You wouldn't classify her as a great singer, but she's a great lyricist.
Yes. I could read to him.
But apparently it's about her and having an affair with the drummer. Nobody knows.
Apparently. Could be about anything.
But I think the outro is just class.
Oh, I have heard this song.
Yeah.
He's on the phone or something.
Probably. Oh, it's 1987.
I can't think of the song. I heard that. Oh, I heard that in the office. I heard that song. Kevin sings it on the party or something. I heard that. That's very good, that song. That's very good.
That's a good song. But again,
So nobody knows the backstory.
nobody knows the backstory.
You know what that reminds me of when you say no one knows the backstory? Have you ever watched The Quiet Man?
Yeah, parts of it I.
John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. At the very end of the film, when all's said and done, I know. I'll tell you sort of the basic plot of the movie. So he's American, but he has Irish ancestry, so he's moved to Ireland to whatever, and falls in love with this woman, and they're getting married in, they're not getting married in, they get married. At the end, they're married. Oh, big spoiler, sorry. But they're standing looking out the field, and he's standing all players punch. Next thing she comes over and she whispers something into his ear. She never told anybody what she whispered, and he never told anybody. So it's a big mystery. What did she whisper? Because they laugh. When she whispered, and then they start laughing at her, and then they run away after the end of the film. But nobody knows what she said to him.
That's a good touch.
Oh, that's the sort of thing. That's mystery. It's a bit like whenever we go walk on Sunday.
Mystery
tour.
Your plot line there sounded a lot like most of it sounded like The Field. Now that's a good recommendation of a film to
The
watch.
Field?
The Field.
You know what the best scene on the field is? The Kelly dancing. Kieran Hanrahan, and I think it's Kevin Burke's playing the fiddle.
Mm.
Just because there's good old crack, you know. The Bull McCabe.
The Paul McCabe.
Go on the bull! That is a good film.
That is a good film.
It's, and that's another drama. That's actually a play.
It's a play originally.
John B. Keane. Funny, I might have mentioned the field the other day. We were walking somewhere, and there was a nice lush field in the middle of. No, we were walking.
This is
Sorry,
my field.
sorry, we were walking. That's where we were walking up the mountain, and just out of nowhere is this lovely green field with sheep on it, and it was like, did you ever see the field?
This is my field.
Because it just reminded me. Sort of, we were walking down, and there's sort of mountains either side of us, and just this lovely, nice flat field. I thought, Jesus, that's just like the film. Just, you know, at the very start when they're sort of panning across, big mountains, next thing, all stony ground, next thing, just a lovely green field, just in the middle of her.
I had one of them like light bulb moments there last week too. I was just glancing across on, they're nothing but stones, and then just out of the nowhere, just this wee bit of a field.
Class.
But that's a good recommendation of a film to watch.
The opening of that film's class too, just with all the pipes and stuff.
It's actually a great film.
A lot of interpretation to come out of it. If you're into your interpretation of films. And
I think that's what makes it. I think it's the mystery of them West Coast places. It's like they're kind of a wee bit mysterious.
I think you need to have like a degree in psychology to understand some of it as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
To sort of think, what are they thinking when they're doing this?
Well, Richard Harris probably nearly the only Irish actor in that film.
Brenda Fricker,
Brenda Fricker.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean's English.
He claims Irish heritage or whatever.
And
He also dies in that film, which is...
stop reading films.
Oh, sorry.
And
Cut that out. Cut that out, don't
John Hurt.
John Hurt.
You know the guy out of Alien with the stuff thing coming out of his chest.
Who's he playing the field?
Um,
The American?
no,
The bird?
the bird.
Was he? All right. I cut that bit out where I ruined the whole film there. You can leave that bit on, but cut the bit out where I ruined the film.
Aye, so John Hurt's in it, and he's class.
Oh, actually, well, does it really ruin the film? Because
No, not
you
really.
can cut this bit out, because does he not die at everything he's in?
I think the only thing he did, there was only one film he's ever been in that he didn't die in,
Oh.
and I can't remember what it is.
It may have been the field. We'll leave that mystery. But no, that's a good film, alright.
Aye.
So that was Alanis Morissette then you had?
You didn't watch The Terror on BBC?
No.
It's
Didn't.
about two English Royal Navy boats in the 1800s, 1700s, one of them, 1800s. He's trying to find the Northwest Passage up through Canada and get to China that way.
Oh,
And
a long time finding that.
they get stuck. They get stuck in the ice, obviously. Of course they do, because it's Antarctica. Or
Basically.
it's the Arctic.
That's basically, aye, it is.
And they decide to go like mid November. So whenever they're right
Aye.
into the middle of it, it's just bang.
Bravely cool.
Aye. So the two boats get lodged and stuck. And the real story is that all the sailors they couldn't get the boat out, obviously, and two boats out, and then they just started cannibalism a wee bit, and none of them were left.
Yes.
Terror kind of, there's only a slight difference to make it fiction,
Yeah.
where he brings in this extra supernatural being into the thing, and that's what wipes out most of the sailors, which is a nice touch. But what I was going to say is that the guy in the Terror is Richard Thingamajigs.
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris' son,
Oh.
Jared, who was in Suits, or not Suits.
Jared.
Well, he's English, obviously, now, because Richard moved over to London.
Well, I suppose.
But Jared, he was in Mad Men.
Yes.
But Jared, didn't like him in Mad Men, but he's great in The Terror. So I highly recommend The Terror.
A film, was it?
No, it's like
Or a
it's a
programme?
10-part series. On.
All right. Must look it up.
It's really good,
Very good, Anto.
really good. My last choice, which is actually
Oh, aye, that's right. Aye, yeah, it wasn't even your choice. Aye.
which is actually a side note,
I got ahead of
which
it.
happened to just be a coincidence, is called Staying Alive.
Very good. BG's job.
I outdo myself sometimes.
That's a lie. He had that scripted.
now I'm only looking at the script.
I forgot ahead. Stay alive.
Staying Alive. Right. This is a cracking backstory.
Okay. You
Right.
didn't. You haven't told me this. Normally, I'll give you a bit of background. We discuss what we're doing and any notes we've made. But today, I'm just like, no, I'm not telling you anything. I'm just going to be pure surprise. So I'm looking forward to this.
Right. So, everybody knows Staying Alive. The song, it was for the John Travolta film Saturday Night Fever, which was an absolute classic of a film. So, Bee Gees kind of wrote most of the soundtrack, but they had like most of the recording artists in the 70s had recorded it in France to avoid paying tax.
Right.
So, as the Bee Gees were flying to Paris, they got the Concorde flight at that time from London to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Robin Gibb held on to the ticket and went into the studio, and producers had all said, right, you need to write me a new song. I need another song for this film. So Robin pulled out the ticket,
Yes.
and he literally just, there must be like health and safety procedures on the back of it. So he literally ripped most of it off and put it in as lyrics for Staying Alive.
Clap.
Which I thought was a nice touch. So that was grand. There was a row between the producers. They had previously recorded Night Fever, which I'll play a wee bit of that before I get into Staying Alive. So it's this one. It's on the soundtrack as well. And so the producer came and says, right, you need to change the name of this song to Saturday Night. And the BG said, no, there's too many songs that start with Saturday. I'm not changing. So what they ended up doing, because the script had already been written, they just added Fever to the end of it. So
Yes.
after the original song, which was Night Fever.
Very good.
That's another side issue.
That's a little side story
No,
on the main
side
story.
No, not the main story. Right? So, as I said, Robin had borrowed all the lyrics for off the Concorde back of the ticket. During recording, the drummer, Dennis Bryan, his ma died. And he had to go home to work out the funeral before he got the drums recorded for Staying Alive. So this is where it gets interesting. BG thought, right, we'll better replace him with somebody in para. Makes sense, I suppose. So they looked around, couldn't find anybody. And then somebody had said to them, why don't you try a drum machine? Right? So they tried that. And they said, no, it wasn't working. What they did instead, they took a 2-bar loop of Night Fever and played it on repeat throughout the whole of Staying Alive. The drums do not change.
Well, you can tell by the way I use
They do not change at all.
no time to talk. You
So, as a side joke, they called the drummer on credit of Staying Alive was what was it? Named it Bernard Lepay after the 2-bar loop.
That's class. The 3 week changes you hear.
I think that's additional percussion recorded onto it.
I don't even think it is. I think they've flipped it, but they've flipped it. They've like doubled it. There's the hi-hat where they come off the hi-hat there. And Night Fever is double. There was one there. One there, yeah. One there. One there. So it would have been double of that there, but it is basically the same groove. That's class. I really enjoyed that story.
It was a real nice find, I thought.
That was. Is that the whole story?
And
That's not the whole story, up is it?
do you want more?
Give her that hey.
So, there's nothing I missed out. Aye, so the only other thing that I could find on that story was that the new drummer Bernard Lepay was in high demand because of his incessant timing.
Very good.
A notable cover version of that was done in the 90s. Your mate Ryan would like this new version. A rave version, which he just took the first bar and a half of that bass line and drums and just flipped it. By Entrance. Massive 90s group.
Massive Norway story, this.
Get
Actually, new
real
story.
with the fever on the dance floor.
Groovy. I love the siren in the background.
So just like being in LA or somewhere. It's class.
For the flame, who can think the way that I flex on
I
a
didn't think a rap would work well, but that's actually worked well.
with the knife I style for my lip. That be rolling the mad joints.
So that's Staying Alive.
I'm going to tell you this wee story. I don't know if we've told this before, but that's Staying Alive, that first wee groove. Do 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 do. I think you know this story. Down the Fla. Was that the first change I had or the second year? Was
First year?
that the first year we get second?
Aye.
You made something to hit the table that morning. The Fla's like the whole squad of us stays together in one house and controlled mayhem, if you want to call it that. But it was me and you.
It was the night before we had to go on stage.
Wasn't the night before?
And we were sitting watching the Flat TV.
Aye.
And we decided, said, Shanna, come in here. We've got a new arrangement for you for tomorrow morning.
And it was us playing that Bee Gees Stay Alive.
at
The single jig or
a
something.
march or something.
It was me, you, and McKago
Aye.
sitting playing three mandolins or something,
3 man.
or a guitar and two mandolins or something. It was White Crack. We had White Crack that year. Was that that was the first year in Drogheda.
First year in Drogheda. We were out the
That's right. We were at the town,
out
but
in the sticks.
when did I run the red light?
Sorry, Mama.
I think I've probably told her that story, but there's about a number of us in a vehicle.
That's why you say say no more, Hugh.
There's at least 5. But as you the way we were staying at, as you dive into the middle of the town, there's like a weird.
Staggered crossing.
It's not a. It's like a T junction, but there's lights on, and when you go into the town, it converges into
What, from 2 lanes to 1 lane?
from 2 to 1 or something like that. So I was busy constantly looking for this where it converges, and I thought, just I don't, because I was sitting, and I think I was in the middle lane. I wanted to make sure I get in because there was right by the traffic going that way. Well, maybe not that time of night. That was about 10 o'clock, probably. But didn't want to miss it. She was dark outside, obviously, that time of the evening. I just don't want to miss this. Drive on, just an issue like. Next thing, John News and passenger sits beside me, he says to me, did you see that red light? It's what red light? That one just went by there. He's no, I didn't even see it, hey John, tell you the truth. Just, I didn't know how long it was on, and I was lucky there's nothing coming down the road. Well, probably if there was stuff coming, I probably would have stopped.
You would have stopped.
But there's nothing coming, I never really noticed it. I just stayed through it. And everyone in the back seat, number of them, were all like, what'd you do that for?
Korean's like that too. If you're driving out the bypass Korean, there's like a traffic lights every 200 yards, 300
I've never
yards.
actually drove in Korean before.
It's the worst designed bypass I've ever seen. So you get up a bit of speed, you're getting up into speed, and then all of a sudden, bam, red light to brake.
Disaster.
Every 300 yards. There must be about 10 of them.
There's a lot of roundabouts, say Korean. 'Cause the only time
There
I've
is.
drove that direction was to go till. Where else I going? Cousins over from America. I think we were going up toward North Coast somewhere, and we had about 7 roundabouts from the road. It was just hateful enough. Instead of just making one road with slipways on, make a pair of roundabouts on. But aye, Flaws. Missed them badly.
Sorely missed, hey.
Oh, Staying Alive, that's a cracking song too, and we'll go back to the topic at hand. It's
But
Staying
yeah,
Alive. Lovely story.
that was a great story.
It was a class story, actually. Should say that at the last. My last one was not bad now, but I know for the top. Staying Alive.
Sure, there away
And a
anyway.
couple of mentions first, just the last couple of 3 mentions, I'll just go through them very quick. I've another Iron Maiden one on there, which is the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. It's based on a poem from like the 1700s called The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which is extremely long. I tried to read it one night, very late on, which was a bad idea because I got about 25 verses into it and I didn't even make a dent. So I abandoned that very quick and just stuck to the song. But it's a very long song, it's like 13 minutes. I'll just play the start of it. Some nice arrangements on it. It changes tempo 5-6 times. There's nice, really slow, but mental chords and stuff. Good old song. You get the first line. The plot of the song basically is a boatload of fellas sailing south, uncharted lands. They're followed by an albatross. When they're sailing home again, they kill the albatross and get cursed. And they all die except for the captain. So he has to live out the curse or whatever. Then eventually the curse is lifted, but it's not really lifted or something like that. Listen to the song, read the lyrics, read the poem you want. But that's it. That's a good song. One of my favourites at the moment. Jolene. Everyone knows Jolene.
Good song.
Dolly. Lovely arrangements that song too. Jolene was inspired by two separate women. The first was an 8-year-old girl who was waiting for an autograph after a concert or something. If you listen to the lyrics, it talks about fiery red hair and eyes emerald green. That's what this wee year looked like. The second woman was a bank teller who took a fancy to Dolly's husband.
Sure, why not?
The song itself, people think it's about Jolene stealing this man, but it's like a joke between her and her husband, really. Apparently.
There's something about
It's actually very innocent, the song,
Spring, your voice
compared to what
is
people
soft
think it's
like
about.
summer
there's
rain, and
like
I
a
cannot
song.
compete with you, Jolene.
Dolly, it's like goes, said to her husband, says, "Why are you spending so much time at the bank for?"
Something like that, aye. That's classy song. And the last one before the final is Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Good choice.
I actually quite like that wee story, but I forgot about it there. I was picking my choices. I'll put it on. I'll skip the first minute because it's just build up. That's good groove, by the way. It's class groove, yeah. So the song written by Mark Knopfler. The lyrics. This is a funny story. He happened to be in an electrical appliance shop. There were two lads standing watching TV, watching music videos on MTV.
Look at them yo-yos.
And he basically just stood and listened to them.
You play the
Grabbed a bit of paper and wrote what they were saying.
guitar.
Those are the lyrics of the song, basically.
It's like most of Mark's songs are just still from life experiences, especially the Told in the Swing.
That's a class song.
That one there,
Maybe get up the stone.
the old boys saying, them kids saying, they got money for nothing these days.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
So much
That song. An interesting factoid, if you don't know, Sting actually sings back up on the song.
refrigerator.
Studio.
We got some
So,
movies gonna
I don't know where
I
it's
didn't
at in
think
the
Sting
song.
they couldn't get Sting.
Sting's on that. You know the line, I want... It's toward the end, actually. I'll stick it on.
easy money.
I want my MTV. That's Sting.
That ain't working.
Well, I didn't. The time I watched that Brian Johnson documentary, they touched on it, but I can't remember him saying whether Sting agreed to it or not. But
But apparently
I
that
guess
is...
that's Sting.
apparently that is Sting.
Sounds like Sting.
Just that one line. I want my MTV. It's Sting, isn't it? I can't quite sing in the higher octaves there like Sting can, but
Sting's rightly up there.
it's my interpretation of it. But okay, right. So that's that. So my last choice, Anthony, is well, I'll play the start of the song. If you've heard any sort of rock and roll music, or if you're a guitar player, you've definitely heard this song.
Starter pack to learn
Basically.
guitar.
Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. So, this basically details events of December 4th, 1971 in Montreux, Switzerland. So basically, Frank Zappa was playing a concert in Montreux, Switzerland in like a hotel casino. About an hour and a half into the show, some lunatic shoots a flare gun inside the hotel, which then set fire to the wooden rafters. So the hotel started to burn down, basically. The casino hotel started to burn down. Everyone evacuated. That's in Montreux. At the time, Deep Purple just happened to be in Montreux doing some, as you say in the lyrics there, they were recording for some Frank Zappa there, concert. So that's the detailing the events. Burns this the ground. The smoke on the water they refer to is basically they once went across the river. They witnessed it all happen across. The smoke billowed out of the hotel, just rested on the water. It was cold. It was December. So it was cold.
Chilly enough.
Just in the calm waters.
Very nice.
Probably, well, I'll say look class. Probably didn't look class. The hotel's burning down, but just basically inspired.
Still think it would look class.
To some extent.
If it was Switzerland's pretty cold enough at that time of year, so
So that was that. Just it's basically stage by stage,
nice. That's good.
stage by stage record of what happened, basically from their point of view.
At least they would have to go to the cops to get a statement.
Aye. What happened here, lads? Dude.
Give him a tip.
Aye. Take that tip there.
Speaking of Montreux, you didn't watch any of them the concerts on TG Cahir over Christmas. They were all Montreux.
Were they?
Chic at
I watched that
Montreux.
one. That was class.
Johnny Cash at Montreux.
Oh.
What was the other one? The other one was. Ooh. There was like 20 on at that time of year because nobody could get out to concerts.
I watched some of Chic because I wasn't going to watch it, and then you text me and say, that's class, watch it there. And I watched it and it was class,
There was
actually.
a dodgy note right at that time.
I did watch
Wow.
it. But, aye. So if you're ever in Montreux, just by chance, there's actually a memorial to Deep Purple at Funky Claude's Bar, which is right beside, I guess,
Casino?
the rebuilt casino hotel, whatever it is. So
What year was that released? That in there? 70s?
It was 70. The event, the actual one that happened was December 4th, 1971. 20 years before I was born, so nearly 50 years ago.
50 years.
Which is a while long time.
Whenever you put numbers onto it, it sounds a while long time.
It does, actually. So it must have come out, obviously, in the 70s of some stage.
So everybody knows that.
So, yeah. Guitar, as you say, guitar starter pack. Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, along with Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Just that start there.
And Sweet Home Alabama.
And Wonderwall,
Wonderwall. Yes.
classic.
Classic
Oh,
starter.
You can play the guitar. What can you play? Oh, I can play Wonderwall. That was always the ridicule of guitar players, that all they could play is Wonderwall. I can't play it. I've never actually listened to this song in its entirety. It just sounds so boring.
It doesn't change, so
I've listened to bits of it. It sounds really horrible.
it's like Oasis's worst song.
But it's probably the most famous, I would say. Just everyone knows it from learning guitars.
Yeah.
You want to learn guitar? Take that sheet. That's Wonderwall. Play it.
You passed.
You're now the official guitar player. So that's my choices then. Right up on me.
Yeah. Just keep telling people about it and
Aye,
That'd be very, very much appreciated. And nice wee reviews help us get found. So
definitely.
and check us out on our socials because we're
Yep.
doing loads of stuff
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
on the website.
Website, records@wordpress.com. That's it.
And just keep her lit.
Also, look out for the newsletter, which should be the first one should be coming out in May. Be May the 1st, probably. If you haven't signed up to it, sign up. Give me something to do. So I think I'm the one that has to make it.
That's a delegation of power.
Andy, he's the king of the castle there, sitting in the big empire, and I'm like just
I
the
started.
next lad doing.
I've started reading up on Russian concentration camps. I'm thinking I want to create a dictatorship.
Iron Fist job. I don't like sound of that, but we'll see. Don't forget, I am bigger than you, aren't I?
An equal rights dictatorship.
I like the sound of that. I can get behind that. like North Korea meets, I don't know, like North Korea meets Northern Ireland. It's like Arlene Foster and Michelle O'Neill both being the dictators, but they can't agree on anything because they're opposite ends of the spectrum.
Like there's a clear agenda, but there's a lot of humming and hamming before we get there.
Yes, that is actually essentially what we do. So much humming and hawing.
So here, thanks a million for listening. It's actually been a pleasure this week.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Less strenuous research. A bit more bounce than we've had this while. So, hi.
Well, we song play out, and seeing as we're all big Cranberries fans now, well,
Cranberries, aren't they? Go on ahead, son.
Trying not to lie.
I think you.
right, but I'm like,
I wouldn't face
you're listening to the 3 Hours
you
podcast.
out
This podcast.
here. I just